What's going on, y'all? Happy Tuesday for those of y'all that I haven't spoke to. Obviously, we had a video that we put out earlier today, just breaking down the Florida defense versus our offense. If y'all missed it, definitely go back and check that out. But today, I do want to kind of like add some thoughts to that, get y'all's thoughts on how the matchup's going to look. We don't have to just focus on Tennessee's offense and Florida's defense. We can, we can talk about other things too within our team, within this matchup, because now we're kind of like getting to the point where I'm about to start making my game picks and all of that type of stuff. But also something that's came out earlier today that Sam Leavitt, who has been the quarterback for the for Arizona State for the past couple seasons, he's a redshirt sophomore at this point. Sounds like he's planning on entering the transfer portal. And I know Tennessee's going to need at least one more quarterback. I mean, because I think we're only going to have two. You have to have three these days. I mean, football is a game of injuries. You have to have three guys just in case. But, we're going to talk about, is this a good option for Tennessee? Is he going to end up on this team? Because I think that he's a guy that we targeted in the previous transfer portal window. Now, that was a short window. That was on like short notice. So wasn't going to be a whole lot of folks that would come in and want to, play quarterback, within that limited time frame. So we might have a chance to get him. Obviously, he's somebody that the staff liked if the rumors are true that we were targeting him previously. And it sounds like there, was some truth to that. Let me go ahead and tap into the chat too, man. Y'all are more than welcome. Just tap in. Like I said, this is really, I want to get y'all's feedback. So Tay, what's going on, bro? Happy to see you in here. I know that a lot of folks, y'all might not be able to join us. We're doing this at kind of like a weird time today. We've been doing the live streams at different times every day. Mostly just because I wanted to see what window are people watching in the most, like how many free viewers do we have in different windows. But today is just kind of like we got to do it when we can get it done. So if y'all can't watch it live, then obviously y'all will be able to watch it later on today. But y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe at whatever point that y'all are watching. Really helps us out in a major way. Shouts out to our members. And let me get to the next one right here from Jack. Give me Mestamaker. Is Mestamaker the kid from North Texas that everybody's been talking about? I still haven't watched film on him. I still haven't watched him. So Dylan, what's going on, Dylan? Appreciate you for being a member. So now I'm not sure if we'd add him just because we'd have three $1 million+ quarterbacks on campus. I do think that we can sell him as one and done. However, okay, I think that's a very interesting way to look at it for sure. I think that's a thoughtful way to look at it. And Jack is saying, I just feel like I've seen nothing from Merklinger. I like the idea of a portal quarterback and have a true competition. So I don't think that Merklinger is going to be back. It's something that we've talked a lot about. I don't know what other content people are taking in, but I've seen that mentioned in like a lot of different places. Merklinger probably won't be back. It's about George. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the question. Do you feel like George is the guy? And if not, then yeah, you would have to go to the portal to try to add somebody. We're gonna get into it, y'all, in just a second, but let me get through some more of these chats. So this one right here, appreciate you for joining us, bro. Thank you for being a member. Saying I could see him competing for a starting spot with GMAC, but I really want to see GMAC get it done. I love what you're saying right there. All right, Quez is saying, who is Sam? So it's Sam Leavitt, quarterback at Arizona State. And excuse me, this one right here from the Warden saying, Bluechip, give me the reason why behind getting Sam and not getting a mid-transfer and trying to hand the ropes to GMAC. Well, we're about to go through that right now. All right, so let's jump into what Sam Leavitt has been doing since he's been in college. So y'all can see his numbers right here, just like overall season numbers. This is from ESPN. So he started off at Michigan State, then he transfers to Arizona State, and he is currently a redshirt sophomore. So he's played well. You can see that as a redshirt freshman last season, he threw for about 28, almost 2,900 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, about 61.7%. That went down 1% this season. And I mean, his yards and all that, that's gone down significantly. Now he's been dealing with like a foot injury. So it's been like a lingering foot injury. And he had to have surgery on that, season-ending surgery on it. So that's one part of it. Do you want to go out there and get, and I hate to say damaged goods, but do you want to go out and get a player that's already dealing with some injuries? You got to ask yourself that. And we will take a look at the numbers and how everything's going to look just as far as like money-wise, right? But let me also show y'all this. So these are his numbers on like a game-to-game basis. This is from Pro Football Focus. So breaking things down a whole lot more for you. And I'm going to move this on up. There's a lot of columns. This is the drop back column. This is the actual passes column. This is how many passes he hit. This is the passing yards, passing touchdowns, interceptions, big time throws. And that's pretty much all y'all need to worry about. It's really not too many other things that y'all need to worry yourselves with, I don't think, at this point. So versus Northern Arizona, you see he had a great game, and this is 2025, 300, almost 400 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception. Now versus Mississippi State, he only threw for 92 yards. I think he might have went out early in that game. Only 92 yards in that game. But you can come down to what he did versus Mississippi State in 2024 as well, and pretty poor numbers there, right? So 69 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, it's very easy to say, and I disagree sometimes with people saying this, that, oh, well, these guys, they're coming from such a lower level. The SEC is different. Yeah. The talent that you're going up against is different, but the talent that you have with you is also different. The resources that you have, all that's different. So if guys can play, they can just play. But what else did he do, right? He had he had a big game versus TCS, or versus TCSU. What the hell am I talking? Versus TCU, and missed the game versus Utah. Utah's got, I think, probably one of the best defenses in the Big 12. It's probably them, or I guess maybe Texas Tech is pretty good this season too. And then Iowa State, I think he missed that game. So he played some versus Houston, and then that's when he went out. And so, like I said, he's going to be missing the rest of the season. It's not crazy numbers from like a touchdown standpoint, right? He's putting up pretty good yards in some of these games, and we can come back to what he did in the previous year, because I know we kind of like skipped over that. Redshirt freshman, he's going to grow exponentially. He had a really nice game versus Oklahoma State. And, he had some pretty decent games for some of these other teams. Obviously, I think he led his team to the college football playoffs last year. I think, Arizona State was in because they almost beat Texas. So this was a really good game right here versus Kansas State. But, I just want for y'all to look at those numbers real quick, just so that we can have, just so that we can all be like working off of the same thing, more or less. But I haven't, so like I was watching film on him last season, and I think that he's a good quarterback. He's got good tools. He can definitely run. He can use his legs. And I think he's got a strong enough arm that he could operate Tennessee's system. I think that he'd be a good option. I do. I think that he'd be a pretty solid option. He'd probably fit in well. Their system at Arizona State, it's not too similar to what Tennessee's doing. There will be some similarities, but it's not like super, super similar. But let me show y'all this. Because for the people who are saying that you want to go out and get Sam Leavitt or any other starting quarterback, let me show y'all how much money Tennessee might be working with. We did this in the previous video, where this is just showing you how much money Tennessee might be able to allocate to each different spot up here based off of $35 million, which is about what we think Tennessee is going to be working with for our roster in 2026. Now, that's not just adding players. That's also with the players that we got to hold on to. So about $35 million, I think that Tennessee will be one of the biggest spenders. We went through in the previous video and broke down how we got to that number. But the way that we're splitting up how the funds are allocated to different spots comes from the average NFL model, okay? So about, for quarterback, you're thinking about 12% of the $35 million can go to the quarterback room. That would be $4.2 million for the whole room, all right? For all, because you need 3 scholarship guys. GMAC, Faison, how much they're already up over $1 million. And then you go and add somebody. Y'all can see how, you could go add somebody, but you're probably going to end up having to take away from some other spots on this team. Do you want to do that? Is it worth it to you to do something like that? You have to ask yourself that. Okay, so we're going to move forward, show you the next part of this, and it's just showing the breakdown of how much money will be allocated to the offense, to defense, and to special teams. So about 52.5% goes to the offense. That's $18.6 million. About 45% goes to the defense. That's $16 million. And then special teams, they get about 2.5%. And then under all that, I'm showing you what I think Tennessee needs to do coming up in this transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? I think that for the offense, just hold on to what you got. You might have to add in a couple spots like guard. Right now we're talking about quarterback, maybe. We definitely have to add a quarterback, but do we want a starting caliber quarterback? And then for the defense, we know that we need defensive line and we need secondary. And then special teams, I still think that we need a kicker. All right. So this slide is showing you what the average pay was for quarterbacks or for every spot in college football last season. I got those numbers from ESPN. And then to the right of it, I'm showing you how much I think it's going to cost about on average to go and get players out of the portal, like if you want good players. So talking about quarterback, last year they were getting about $1 to $2 million about on average. I think that in this portal window, if you want like a top 15 guy, the floor is $3 million. If you want a guy like Sam Leavitt that would at least be top 10, I think right now he's probably the number one quarterback out there at this point. More quarterbacks will probably enter in. And like I told y'all yesterday, man, like don't just waste your time focusing on the players that have entered into the portal or people are talking about, because we can tamper with them and we can get whoever we want to enter in, to who we want to enter into the portal. But I'm thinking that a guy like Sam Leavitt, probably about $4.5 million out the gate. Okay, like that's probably what it's going to take. Like that's probably, I would say $4 million, maybe $3.5 million starts conversations. But it's going to be other teams that want a good quarterback. It's going to be other teams that are going to want Sam Leavitt. So I think that his price tag is going to go up to $4.5 to maybe $5 million. Let me take y'all back to this room. Look at the quarterbacks one more time. We can allocate $4.2 million to that room just based off the NFL's model. That doesn't mean that that's what Tennessee's going to do. We might want to allocate more funds to quarterbacks. I don't know. But whenever you're adding, like you're taking away from something. So I just want for people to understand what we're talking about. Now, with that all being understood, we can, we saw some of the stats. We see what type of player Sam Leavitt is. We talked about how much money it's probably going to cost us. We know that we need to upgrade on defense for sure. That ain't free. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just bring this right back up. That ain't free, dog. Like, take a look at what these players are going to be asking for. It's not free. It's not even going to be cheap. It's going to be expensive. And like I said, man, there's going to be some players on this roster that will take raises, that need to get some raises. So would you sacrifice spending about $4.5 million on a quarterback like Sam Leavitt or any other quarterback that y'all can think of out there? It's not just an exercise for Sam Leavitt. It's an exercise for name a quarterback that you go spend $4.5 to $5 million on and say, hey, this guy's going to get it done for us. And, we feel perfectly fine moving forward. That's just like the first layer to it. Okay. We're just on the first layer, because if you bring in a guy like Sam Leavitt, GMAC is probably going to leave, more than likely. Now, I would love to do this if Sam Leavitt comes in and says, hey, you know what? I want to come play for y'all. I want to come earn my spot, and I want to take a big-time discount. I'll settle for $1.5 million, even though I'm leaving about $3.5 million on the table probably. I would say at least $2.5 million on the table. Which we all know that's not going to happen. Like, that's not even realistic to even think that way, because that's just not going to happen. Nobody's going to do that. And then he's coming off of an injury. So there's just like several layers to it that, in my opinion, wouldn't make any sense. But if we could get a guy of his caliber and there's more players coming to the portal, maybe his value starts to come down some. I'm not wishing that on him. I don't wish it on anybody. But maybe that does happen. That will work in Tennessee's favor. Because it'd be great if we could go find a backup quarterback that we feel like, hey, if something happens, they can play. We need to try to find somebody that we feel like can play, that will take care of the football, which I think Sam Leavitt will do. But it's not going to be easy to do. It's honestly not. So I think that you can do maybe a couple of different things. There's a lot of different ways that you could figure this out. Maybe you say, okay, we don't think that GMAC is going to be up to speed on time, so we'll just kind of like cut him. That might free up about, I'd say over $1 million, maybe like $1.5 million or something like that, because they'll probably be asking for some more money. So you can free things up from that standpoint. And then you could go out and you're still going to be spending a bunch of money. Like, you still have to go out and spend at least probably $4 million on a starting quarterback. And then you got to go out and spend, I don't know how much. I'd say for a pretty good backup, probably close to like $1 million. It's just, from like a finances standpoint, to me, I don't see how that's going to work. I don't personally see how that's going to work. But let me tap into the chat. Let me see what everyone's talking about, okay? Because I know that we just went through a whole lot of stuff, and I see a lot of chats coming in. Okay, so this one is from Dylan saying that Sam wouldn't necessarily be a splash ad. He's decent, but not a world beater. If we could get him cheap, I'm all for it. And I think that you just said that perfectly. That's pretty much exactly what I said. So Omar, what's going on, Omar? Saying I feel like Sam will ask for a very large bag, like $5 million. Probably. I think he's going to get very close to that. I don't think people understand how much money, if you're especially talking about quarterbacks, like top 5 at any position is going to be probably about like twice as much as it was last season. Probably. Because everyone's going after the same players. And everyone's got the same idea. Like, hey, we're trying to win a national championship. So we're going to go out and add who we think are the best players. And once it turns into a bidding war, the price just goes up and up and up and up and up. So Dylan is saying that Mississippi State game was a stinker. Yeah, man. I got to watch some of it. I think that was earlier in the year. I got to watch some of that. So Eric Atkins is saying, what about the use quarterback? I'm not sure. Maybe that's a typo in there, but just come right back, bro. I'm gonna try to find you, but just come back because I'm not sure what you meant by that. I think GMAC is better. Yeah, we haven't seen a whole lot of GMAC, but I think that GMAC's got a higher ceiling. I personally think that the warden said, I'll be the first to say that I don't want Sam Leavitt. Not that he's bad. I just don't think that he'd fit the room, and we could use money elsewhere. Okay, interesting, interesting. My bad. Let me get to this one saying that he's going to be asking a lot for sure. And this one's saying, let's get top five JUCO quarterback in three-way battle with Faison, Mac, and the new guy. Yeah, I mean, I think that that would be the perfect situation. Like, I want competition. I do. I don't know that the players necessarily want it, but if you go and get a guy from JUCO, maybe the players don't feel as threatened by that. You really don't want guys that are too threatened anyway. But quarterbacks are a little bit different. Like they operate a little bit different, and you gotta. That's a very special place. Like you got to be careful with how you handle quarterbacks. But yeah, I would love it if we could go out and get somebody that we feel like, hey, they can push this room, make us better, and then we have a really good backup quarterback either way. That's what I would love to happen. But even those JUCO guys, if they can play, they're gonna cause. They don't matter where you go get them from because everyone like the resources that they have. If I have the resources and I can go and look at junior college D2 and D3 players and all of that, you know that these big time programs have like 1,000 times more the resources than what we have on this channel. So they're gonna know about the guys. Everyone's gonna know about the guys. And if you're good, then it's just gonna cost. That's something else. And I'm sorry to keep you up there for so long. I'm gonna come right back to you. But it's something that I have also seen that a lot of people just have this, and I'm not saying that this is what you're saying, bro, but I know that there is like a thought that, well, if they're coming from this lower level, then they're just going to automatically be cheaper. But that's just not the case. If you can play, you can play. Teams don't too much care where you're coming from. Now, you might have to pay more. So, like, you might go from, hey, this is a JUCO guy that's worth about $3.5 million. Well, you might save about $1 million on a guy that's proven at the Power 4 level. See what I'm saying? Which that sounds like that is a lot of money, but it's still $3.5 million. It's not like you're just going and getting them for 500,000 or something like that. So it just is what it is. It's a tough situation, which is why you want to be able to bring quarterbacks up from the high school ranks and then hold on to them. Let them know, hey, look, we spaced y'all out. Your time's coming, but just stick with us. We're gonna make sure that we can pay you pretty well, and just keep on getting better. But I think that the open competition thing, I think that that's gonna help us to bring up more players and hold on to more players. That they feel like, man, if I'm the best, if I'm the best guy, I really can earn my way here. It's not just like lip service. So Eric is saying that in the Western Carolina quarterback. So I haven't seen the Western Carolina quarterback. Is there one? Okay, I'm sorry. I said that I was going to get to this one. D, sorry, I accidentally skipped past you. But so D's saying bring on Teron Dickens from FCS to compete with GMAC. Yeah, I would like to. I haven't seen him. I got to start looking into some of these guys. But yeah, that's probably about the route that you want to go. And Tay saying that whoever we get from the portal in general, I hope our coaches are aggressive about it and that we need to do whatever it takes to go from good to great. 1,000,000%. That's something that we have to do. We've talked a whole lot about it. Rocky saying I truly would rather start George. I feel like that's a lot of the problem getting one and done quarterback with George and wide receivers and tight ends need some defense. Yeah. So actually, let me check on this. Let me check on this poll real quick because we do have the poll up. If y'all haven't voted on it, I'll come back and take a look at it in just a minute. But if y'all haven't voted on it, it's just asking, should Tennessee target Sam Leavitt? And 50% says yes, 50% says no. So it's split right down the middle. I don't think people know what to think. I'd be interested to see how that changes after we kind of went through some things. Does it change people more towards, yeah, we definitely want to go get him? Or is it more people saying, well, we probably don't want to go get him now? So George gives me Heisman vibes. I don't know. I sure do hope so. Fan base feels like we lean more toward GMAC and Faison. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's the whole fan base. It's hard for me to get a real gauge on it because I'm looking from social media. That's not a proper representation of everybody, I don't think. But like social media message boards, I mean, it's so up and down, just like how it is on this channel right now. It's 50% both ways. I don't know. MG Ways going on, bro. So he's saying a 100% Faison. Okay, so he's a 100% Faison guy. But I need to see him doing it. Full field reads. Yeah, I think that Faison as a true freshman, and it's something that we've talked about so much. I think that he's a guy that he can get it done. He's going to be good, but it doesn't mean that he has to be good right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, give him some time and let him learn and let his body get, like just let him get bigger, stronger, and like let the game slow down for him. I'm not really for throwing quarterbacks out there before they're ready. I think that George is going to be ready though because he had one full year to sit. And I know people might look back and say, well, look at what Nico did as a redshirt freshman. Well, look at what the offense was. And I talk a lot about that. That offense had been figured out. I don't care who we had playing a quarterback, y'all. The offense was going to look bad, and which is why we changed so much. But now that we have changed it and we've got more answers, we're seeing what the ceiling is with Joey Aguilar because it's not like people aren't open right now. There's still a lot of people open. He just doesn't go through the reads properly. That's something I think George can do. And I also think that George has a stronger arm. I think he's a better runner. I just think that he understands football on a little bit of a higher level. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be a much bigger upgrade than what people think. People just look at, well, this is a redshirt freshman. What we've seen previously, it's probably not going to look good, which I totally get that. But you have to understand some like the X's and O's of what's going on. George is going to be perfectly fine. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect. I'm not saying that. Don't take it there. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman. But I think that he'll be good enough. It'll be like at least the operation that we had this year, and then some. I think that where we're seeing some of the interceptions mid-season and stuff, some of the costly turnovers, some of the just fumbling the football for absolute no reason, which I'm not trying to pick on Joey, but some of that type of stuff that loses you ball games, we won't see that. You know what I mean? So I think that we'll be fine. All right, so let me get to some more, man, because we got a lot of them coming in. Where are we at? So this one's from Austin. Austin saying, spend it on the defense. Yep. I think that we definitely need to do that. We got to spend it on holding on to our really good players on offense, too. Dylan saying, I'll say that Sam is pretty, easy. Okay. Arizona State out of, yeah, so he didn't go to Arizona State out of high school. He actually went to Michigan State coming out of high school. He transferred to Arizona State. And, I mean, listen, this is me. I don't personally care if you party as long as you take care of business. I think that you can balance those things. There's been players for such a long time that we don't hear about as much because it was before social media. But if y'all go back into like Dennis Rodman, who else? I mean, it's just like there's just like a whole lot of players. Lawrence Taylor. I mean, I could go on and on and on some of the greats that like to party, and they played well. So I don't care as long as you can show up and as long as you show up and you get work done. That's just me personally. You know what I'm saying? And actually, one of the things about that type of personality, those guys tend to be more favorites for the Heisman because they put their names out there. You know what I mean? Not so much about the partying, but just like with the personality. Like, you need to have some type of personality. You need to put yourself out there enough that people are looking at you. Some of that, I know, like, Tennessee fans hate it, but some of it's probably positive. Some of it's good. I think that the young kids like it. Young kids, like young people, don't look down on that. And I think that's who we need to be trying to, like, market to. You know, like, we got to market to the youth because that's who's going to be playing for us, you know? But I totally feel what you're saying. It's something for us to monitor, and I know that the staff will go through. Trust me, they will do their due diligence. Also, Austin saying that our offense will not be as bad as people think next year. Go get depth pieces on the offense, spend big on defense. Yeah, as long as we can hold on to what we have, I think that we should be fine. So I'm going to switch gears some here, y'all. I'm going to talk about Tennessee's offense, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, we will get back. I'm going to try to get to, I'm not going to probably be able to get to every single one of the chats, but I'm going to try to, like, I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. So Dylan right here, he's saying, I know I just don't want hype having to pull. Okay, yeah, for sure. Yep. And you know what? You would be surprised. I would say that for real, like most of those players, you get all the partying out of your system pretty early on. I think so. I don't think that it, like the partying thing when you're a freshman, I think that probably wears down. And then like these kids have money now, so I mean, it's not like you're probably not going to be having to go to the frat house, bro. Like, you throw a party at your own house with your own people. You don't even got to worry about dealing with everybody else, which I think is a very positive thing for these guys. All right, so let me see. Okay, so we'll come back to the chat. I know that there's a whole lot of things going on, but I did want to talk like a little bit just about Tennessee's offense and some more things that I've noticed or wanted to talk about today versus the Florida defense. Number one, we didn't really talk about injuries today. So Wendell Moy, he went down last game. I don't know if he's going to be back, but the injury list comes out tomorrow. We'll have, Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee hopefully Timmy G and J Pat will be able to join us. So that's going to be tomorrow night. And we will go over that injury list and break down how we're looking just to kind of like start things off. But Wendell Moy, he's going to be a key piece. Watching that one very closely. We're going to need him because I think he's one of the best body movers, if not the best body mover on the offensive line. Him and Lance Hurd. I mean, they move bodies. So we definitely need both of those guys to be able to go for us. And then Miles Kitselman, he looks like he's pretty banged up. You know, I would love to have all these guys back, but I just think that we'll be fine. Like, you know, we can still run 12 personnel with Ethan Davis and with Jack Van Dorsalier. Then we got Brame out there. I mean, you know, I think we'll be fine. Peyton Lewis at running back, would love to have him too, being that bigger physical back. Running downhill, I think that's a big thing that we need in this game. I'm not sure what he's dealing with, but he was banged up. So, again, I'm just hoping that all those guys are healthy. And then, you know, I'm praying for my dog, JP, last night. Scared the hell out of me going down with that injury. Came back out, though. And, you know, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, you know, thoughts and prayers to all those players. But going to be a huge deal if Wendell Moy can't go. Like, that is the biggest piece that we have to have out there. So outside of that, y'all, as I touched on in the video earlier today, I'm really concerned about the turnovers, as I've been touching on for these past couple of weeks, bro. Like, Joey Aguilar is going to have to be able to read the field. And I think that a lot of what he's done, I'm not trying to take nothing from him. I think that he's got a good skill set. But I think that a lot of what, like the yards that he got, a lot of that's coming from the staff, y'all. I think a lot of that's from us drawing things up. He's definitely made some nice plays, made some big plays, made some big-time throws. He's gotten himself out of sacks, which is huge. But the staff is really going to have to draw things up. Like, we have to be able to run the football. There's no question. We got to be able to sit on the ball, run the ball, and make it easier reads on Joey. And, you know, like, let's just not turn the football over. The best way to do that is by run the ball as much as possible. Doesn't mean that we can't fumble, but I would almost rather us fumble the damn ball than throw an interception. Like, I could live with that. You know, I'm not going to say that I can live with it, but I would just rather that. I'm going to say it that way. So, it's going to be a really, really big game because Tennessee hasn't done the best job of running the football. It's been pretty decent, but it could definitely be better. Will we get it figured out this week? We have to, I think, have our best running game this week for sure if we want to win. We got some really good wide receivers, man. We got some really good wide receivers. I really love those guys and what they're doing. Like I said, I mean, you know, you get some of those younger guys out there as tight ends catching the football. You might take a little bit of a step forward from that perspective, and then you also have guys catching the football better coming out of the backfield, like running backs and all that. I think that Deshaun Bishop has played really well. I think he's having a great season. I just feel like, why the hell isn't Star Thomas playing more? Because he's a lot better than people are giving him credit for. He's a really good running back. I think that he needs to see the field more, but we're going to have to utilize all those guys. Like, they have to rotate because they're going to have to run the football. I'm thinking 40-plus times for us to have a chance to win this football game. So let me tap back into the chat, man. I'm not going to probably be able to, like I said, get to all of them. I'm just going to try to go back some. So this one's from MG Way. He's saying that Duke wishes that they hadn't spent so much on Mensa. Great quarterback, but you need other pieces. 1,000,000%. Like, football is not one of those games. It's not like basketball where one player is 20% of your roster or 20% of your starters. That's not how it works. You know, like, you gotta have all the pieces, and they're all gonna cost. Anybody that we feel like is good on this team, just think about it. Just think off the top of your head, who are all of the good players? Or, you know what, who's good to great? Who's like an 80 or better for you mentally? If you want those guys back, they're going to get a raise. They're going to get paid more money than what they're getting paid right now, or they're going to leave. More than likely, it's not going to be everybody, but most of them will. Because, I mean, almost like, why wouldn't you, you know? Like, why would you just leave money out there in a game that is very short-lived? I mean, any play, on any given play, you could be done playing football. I hate to even almost want to, like, whisper that just because it's just so real. But, yeah, I mean, you have to understand that the money, it doesn't go too far. So you got to make sure that you maintain what you have, and then you have to build on top of that wherever you can. But the good news for Tennessee is I think that we do have some extra funds that we can allocate to all of that. And I think that hopefully this season they do a little bit of a better job with that. Okay, so scrolling down, I'm trying to get back through. So this one right here from Big Ray 27, no one really knows which one will be better. Get them on campus and compete. Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure who you're talking about, but yeah, I mean, if you can get them on campus, you know, then yeah, bring them up and make it a competition. But you also have to keep in mind that every move that you make, there's consequences to that stuff, bro. Like you add somebody's probably going to try to leave. So that's the part that is, I think, going to be difficult in some way. Hopefully not too difficult, but it's going to be sort of a challenge for the staff. Quez is saying he loves GMAC. Yeah, I do too, man. I'm really high on GMAC personally. I know that a lot of folks just like look at his look at his frame. They're like, well, he just looks really frail. But I mean, bro, he's gonna gain weight. I'm not. That doesn't concern me. Not personally. And I think that he can. I think that he's gonna be really freaking good, just like you said. So, dogs going on, bro, saying that if y'all go after Sam Leavitt, y'all gonna be instant SEC title contender. Nah. I mean, I don't see that necessarily. I mean, I guess I could understand why you say that, because what if Sam Leavitt was a quarterback this season? Very tough to tell what he would do versus Joey Aguilar, because number one, Sam Leavitt's hurt. So Joey Aguilar, he's a lot more durable. There's a lot to be said about that, bro. Like, you need people who are gonna be durable. Joey's taking some shots now, and he's a tough son of a gun now. I'll definitely tell you that about him. And I think he's a gamer. I just think that he's just too careless with the football. And Sam Leavitt would probably be better from that standpoint. But I actually think that, honestly speaking, if it was between Joey Aguilar next season and Sam Leavitt, who would y'all take? Because personally, I would have to go back and watch more film here recently on Sam Leavitt, but I might take Joey personally. But it's just those interceptions, though. That's the one thing. So Hennessy is saying that Sam is a quitter. Do we seriously need another quitter who's quitting on their current team? Well, I mean, I totally understand why you're saying that. I do. You have to be careful because with the whole Boo Carter situation, you don't want to bring in a guy that's not a good fit from that standpoint. But we don't know what all went on behind the scenes, because he's been having this, and I'm just totally speculating, so y'all understand that. I'm just going off the top of my head of some limited things that I've read. He's been dealing with an ongoing foot injury, and he had to have season-ending surgery on it. So you have to ask yourself, is something that happened with maybe being pushed to play with that injury, is maybe that part of the reason why he wants to move on? I mean, there is a reason now. I'm sure that there's a reason. It's not that, I just want to go somewhere else. I don't think that that's the case. That's simply not the case most of the time. Things happen for reasons. Even if you think it's like bad things. People don't just do bad stuff or whatever just because they're evil people. Typically, something pushed them to do whatever it is that they did. So I'm not necessarily like trying to stand up for Sam, but I do want to, hey, let's be kind of patient and figure out what all really transpired, or as much as we can. The staff is going to know. So I'm saying that just to set it up in case that the staff does bring him up, that people aren't, crying and stuff about, well, he was a bad teammate before and all that other type of stuff. Because that narrative will probably get pushed out from Arizona State, because it's been pushed out about players previously. That, and not just from Arizona State, but from everywhere, that I know for a fact some of that stuff wasn't true. All right, so Adam is saying Sam's a quitter. He was caught off the field. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you definitely get what I'm saying there. What's going on, Cal? Our basketball team is notorious for partying and then playing hard. Yeah. Okay, so I think that Cal might be a student, so she would know. But yeah, I mean, I've never. I mean, there's always like a thin line, but it's not. I mean, college kids are going to be college kids, and the coaches know that. So as long as you're not doing crazy stuff, then you're going to be fine, man. Most of those kids party. I think most of them party. They probably party pretty hard. Again, especially like younger guys. So Alexander saying, I'd like to see GMAC get to 215 or 220 pounds going into next year. I would too. I think that'd be perfect. Hennessy is saying spend on defense. I mean, safety, cornerback, D-line. Come on, linebacker. We need some mean dudes. We have too many nice guys. Watch the game. Yeah. I think that we got some mean dudes, though. I'm not gonna say that we got a bunch of nice guys on the defense, but there is it is a difference, though. Like, I seen something on social media today with Coach Fulmer talking to the team before going out to play Florida. I think that might have been, was that back in 2003? Might have been the last time that we beat them, or it was one of those years. But like the look in their eyes, and this is gonna sound really crazy, but like they look like, some of them, they look like killers. Like you see the look in their eye, like that stone cold look. And just so, like, I don't know. It is different. Tennessee football was different back then. I wish that we could have, like, everything from Coach Fulmer, maybe even him as the head coach, with everything, like the mindset and all that, with Coach Heupel as the offensive coordinator, my goodness, that would be a ridiculous, ridiculous tandem. But yeah, for sure. I mean, like you want to go find the people that are thrown off. Like you got to be a little bit thrown off to play football. And I think that what you're saying has truth because yes, some of those guys I don't see that killer in them. You know what I mean? I know that they play hard, but they don't understand that there's a different like psychotic level that you really have to get to, especially playing on defense. And I do think that I want to go target people like that. Now, I've seen a lot of comments, a whole lot of chats, and I'm not taking a shot at y'all by any means, but a whole lot of thoughts on the off the field stuff. Whenever you go out and get players like that that are a little bit off, there will be some off the field issues too. It typically comes with it. Not all the time, but sometimes it does. If you want to win, you need players like that. You have to have that. Okay. So Ben is saying that we need to develop young talent, go big orange for sure. All right. So I'm going to get to this one from Levi Franklin, and I'm going to skip down some. So Leavitt seems like a solid fit for the system. We need some defense, though. I'd be okay to roll with GMAC and spend the money on defense. Okay, I would too. All right, so listen, sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to scroll down. Obviously, I can't skip any of the members. So MG Way saying, go get another mid-level running back, kicker, backup quarterback, and the rest of the money on defense. And a new secondary coach, not ET, he can stay. Yeah, ET definitely needs to stay. There's no question. So I'm a scroll down and see what all, man, we got a whole lot of chats coming in. I'm getting swamped now with which is perfectly fine. I'm gonna try to play catch up. Let me get to this one right here from Miss Terry's Bathwater because you're always joining us, so appreciate that. Sam or Sellers, who would I want? Oh boy, I think I'll probably take Sellers just because Sellers is a guy that, I mean, I've seen him play inside of this conference. He's a bigger, stronger guy, but I'm not too high on him either. I'd take GMAC over both of those guys personally. That's just me. I don't think he's that good of a passer. He's got a great skill set, but I'm not, and I was pretty high on him last year, but I don't know. Part of that's probably with his team. So yes, a bunch of money will be spent keeping Matthews, Staley, or Pilati from transfer, and I think even more than that, there's going to be a lot of people, whole lot of people asking for some money. MG Way saying I don't like Sellers personally. He's an atrocious decision maker. I'm right there with you. Let me get to this one from Adam. Go get Leavitt when the game's on the line. On the last drive, he doesn't miss. Okay, hey, there's something a whole lot to be said about that type of stuff. Now that, if you come through in the clutch, that makes me feel great. I haven't seen him do that personally, but if you can vouch for it, I'll be right there with you. All right, so David Speaks going on, bro. That North Texas quarterback, Mr. Maker, will be a top player too. Yeah, so it's going to be some good ones out there. And so Dog is saying, okay, yeah, so he's saying that he thinks that Sam Leavitt is going to be a good fit in our system. I think so too. I think that Coach Heupel can probably make it work with a lot of different sorts of quarterbacks. I do. I think that Coach Heupel's really good at that. So MG Way saying parties in this generation are boring as hell. Yeah, it's people staring at their phones, athletes and nerds are missing out. Listen to me, you are speaking facts. It ain't nothing like, and I haven't been to like one of those types of parties in a very, very long time. But just from like hearing what they be talking about, like, nah, bro, like when I was in school, those parties were crazy. It was stuff for you to really be worried about. There's always stuff for you to worry about, but it was nothing like, they're very chilled versus what you might think. Some of y'all, like if y'all more kind of like old school, the way that y'all partied, like the way that we partied, if y'all didn't know, it's totally different from how these kids party. It is not the same. So this one from Tay saying that he was just saying that the other day, how we need a few Mike Tysons on this team. That's a fact, dog. Like that is a stone cold fact. You got to have some people that's just a little bit throw it off. I mean, I'm telling you, go back and watch the clip. It's Coach Fulmer. I think it's before it's a Florida game. It's in the swamp, and it's maybe in 2003 or something. It might be 2001. Go back and watch that. You got Big John in there. It was a. I'm drawing a blank now on the other defensive end. But dude, like you can just look in everybody's eyes and you see it's a different look. It's totally different. So yeah, we definitely have to have that. Okay, so this next one is from MG Way saying the Heupel can make any quarterback look good as long as they understand the system. That's a fact. I think that's something that I was just kind of touching on. Okay. So I'm gonna try to get to some different people. So Levi saying that them boys had that 1,000-yard stare back. Yeah, man. Yes, they did. It was totally different. So Vader's first, saying, honestly, I'm still worried Mike might leave, but his friendship with Staley might keep him here, along with the Rays, obviously. I think that is something that you got to kind of consider. because I ain't gonna hold y'all. It's something that I've thought about too. I haven't talked about it really publicly, but I've kind of thought about it. Would he want to leave? And I'm gonna tell y'all something else. As quiet as this is kept, Lane Kiffin potentially going to LSU or Florida. I think he would. I mean, to me, LSU is probably the better job. That's just me from top to bottom. I think that there's some real smoke there, y'all, like real smoke. But man, what if he does go to LSU? How many players do we got to worry, or like wherever he goes, how many players do we got to worry about losing inside of this class right now? Like a Tristan Keys, who's from Mississippi, might want to go to LSU because of the resources, because of the stage and several other things. I don't know. Like there are some things that we have to think about, and that's something else. Some of these kids might ask for some more money. Some of the guys that we already got this part of this class, they might want another bump in pay. So it's never really over until it's over, until you get these kids up on campus. But it's like an ever-changing thing. So I just don't, for me, it's like I struggle to justify going out and spending all this money on a quarterback that hasn't been part of our system when we know that we got two very capable guys. One is a true freshman. The other one, he's been part of the system. He's a Tennessee kid. He's going to give his all. You know, why not give them the chance? Like, why not maybe save some money there and then give them the chance, and then you can spend the money in some other places to give them the pieces that they need to be successful. You know what I mean? That's just how I look at it personally. Okay, let me get to this one from Cal. So Cal saying that she thinks that Mike Matthews will be gone. I know that we need wide receivers, but we have a lot of talent behind him, and he might get antsy. Yeah, like I said, Cal, and to everybody else, I'm right there with y'all. I've kind of been feeling that too for some reason. I hope it's not true, because I think that he can do some great things for us, and I think the next year it could be his breakout season. You know, in a send-off season. Him and Braylon Staley, they should both be able to get over 1,000 yards next year. I'm thinking. All right. So this one right here from my dog saying that, yeah, Mike had a lackluster season for sure. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even call it lackluster, honestly speaking, because, like, how many yards did he put up, y'all? I mean, I think that he did pretty good. He might have had more. He had a bigger season than all of our wide receivers last year. If I'm not mistaken, I could be off on that. I'm gonna try to pull it up. I'm gonna try to, and y'all might not be able to see it, but I'm gonna see if I can get in here and look and see what our stats are actually looking like. Because, and yeah, listen, he has some drops. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, you're gonna have some. Things like that will happen, but I think that from top to bottom, it definitely wasn't horrible. Okay, let me see what I got in here. Like I said, y'all won't be able to see this. I'm just going through real quick to see. So Mike Matthews, 41 catches for 677 yards. Okay, 16.3 yards per catch with 4 receiving touchdowns. Now let's go back to 2024 and let's see what these guys did. Let's see what the team did. Who was the? Okay, so Dante Thornton had 26 catches for 661 yards and 6 touchdowns, 25.4 yards per catch. So he was the closest person, 661 for Dante. I forgot what I said for Mike. It was somewhere in that ballpark. I gotta go right back and see. So Mike was at 667. So yeah, like I said, he was our number 3 wide receiver this season, but he had more receiving yards, and the season's not over with in all of our wide receivers last season. Not like combined, but he would have had more than all those guys. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that it was a terrible season. I don't think that you're saying that either, bro. But he's going to come back. Hopefully he's going to come back next season, and he can just add on top of that. So David Speaks is saying that Staley and Matthews could be Kenton Nash with G-Mac. I think so too, man. Like, we getting back to that wide receiver and I love to see that. So Mitch Terry's Bathwater, 3 receivers over 650. That is a beautiful thing. MG Wade saying that he can see Matthews losing his starting spot next year. I hope that that's not the case. I mean, I would think that Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley should be plugged-in starters. And then that third spot is who needs to be worrying. Who's going to win that? Because Ra-Ra's a problem. Travis Smith is a problem. Obviously, the freshman that we got coming up, I don't want to name off all, but yeah, problems. So I would think that hopefully is more of the spot that we are looking at to say, okay, who's going to be the starter there? Because I would hate to lose Mike Matthews. All right, so Cal saying that honestly, with all the hype, I feel like wherever Lane goes, it might not be as great as the media are saying. The whole thing sounds like a circus. Yeah, I'm gonna say something about Lane Kiffin, man. He can coach. Lane can coach his ass off. I know he's got a little bit of a different personality that doesn't vibe well with everybody. It is kind of a circus. People are hyping it up, but he's gonna go down there. They're gonna be good instantly. Like wherever he goes, if it's Florida or if it's LSU, they're gonna be good instantly, and they'll probably be like playoff good instantly, especially with 16 teams. So, because both of those rosters are already very talented. And Lane knows how to go get players, okay? Players really like Lane. Okay, so let me try to, I'm just going to try to get to some more people, like to some different people. Okay, so Joy to spread the ball around is what would or will hold big time, what would or will hold big time receivers back. And that is a great thing. Huh. Okay, so basically what Kevin's saying here is that, you know, Joey does a good job of spreading the football out. Yeah, I think that he does. My only problem with Joey is that he knows pre-snap, hey, this one, you know, I'm going to try to get Brazel in. Or, hey, you know, Mike hasn't had one in a while. Let me throw it up to him. Just go back and look at the touchdowns. And look at, it's like, dude, the other people were wide open and you forced it there. It was working early on sometimes. But that's what my problem is. I love the thought. You know, I think his heart's in the right place. Try to spread it around. But you also got to take what the defense gives you. I'm hoping that he does that for the rest of the year, or it's going to be tough. Okay, so it looks like that's about it, y'all. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to all the chats, but I did want to just come in here and just chop it up with y'all. You know, it's always good hearing from y'all. We're going to be back tomorrow with all of my thoughts, not like full final thoughts, but some more thoughts on the game. I'll tell you who I think is going to win. I'll tell you how I think the game's going to end up playing out. And then on Wednesday night, y'all, we will be going live for the midweek chat featuring Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee. If you haven't watched this channel yet, go and check them out. And Timmy G and J Pat, but this all about y'all. Like, we want to hear from y'all, and we're going to be very heavy in the chat. But y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we will be talking to y'all tomorrow. All right. Thanks. Peace.